It's great to see everybody again, first and foremost, because again, we spent a lot of time with them. But great to hear their stories, great to hear where they are, how things. I had no idea that Damien and G were back together dating. I mean, that's awesome.
Or that Lauren and Cameron got a dog, or you know that Jessica and Kelly have had so much self-reflection, and it was really cool. We asked them all to come, and that was on their choice to come back. And so to have these 10 incredible individuals come back for this show to kind of speak their mind and say their piece and unite on this front of what love is blind was really beautiful. And when we asked all of them, would you do it again? Knowing what you know now, knowing whatever perception is reality in this world, knowing what you know now, knowing how the show came out, knowing the hurt or the passion that you found, would you do it again? All 10 of them said yes.
Yeah.
Here, you will choose someone to marry without ever seeing them.
Will you be my wife?
I cannot do this.
We didn't know if there'd be a single proposal, much less 6 proposals. And I think what we saw very quickly were these very genuine connections that people were making, sight unseen, just talking through a wall. And especially from my perspective, because I was dealing with more of the guys, is that seeing these grown men, like, I don't want to say crumbled, but really, they became very unafraid to show their emotion and be vulnerable. And I think they all would tell you they learned a lot about themselves, about life, about love from being a part of this experiment, if you will. So it was really cool for us to kind of watch all that, from the sidelines and be a part of it.
We did get nervous. I remember we got nervous. We're because nobody made anybody propose. Let me make that very clear. This was all on their own. But once they did propose, we're now we're going to document all the way to the altar. And at that point, you can walk away or you can say, I do. But are you going to walk away from someone you fell in love with and felt the need to propose to? And so I think even the lovers, I'm going to call them lovers, not contestants, because that seems weird. The lovers were there's no way I'm going to find my partner, my fiance. And then within 3 days, some of them 6 days, some of them 8 days, they're oh my gosh, I don't want to lose this person. And I want to continue this journey with this person, and I want to marry this person. That's all real, and it's really beautiful to be part of. There are definitely a lot of moments where you're whoa, when we were watching it, I think one that's glaring is the Carlton Diamond relationship, and for us to be a part of that on the other side, and you obviously didn't see a lot of it. We actually talked to every single one of them daily. So after every date, we were there in the halls talking with them, and then we would go into the men's quarters and the women's quarters, and we would actually sit down on the couch and have conversations how are you feeling, what's going on? Not that we know the way to do marriage or relationships. We were just a sounding board of the old married couple. Talk to me as somebody who's not in the pod with you, or talk to me as another woman who's not competing to find this other guy. What's going on in your mind? And so to know Carlton and to know Diamond and to see how great they were individually, and then when they finally came together, but then have this other layer, you watched his journey of struggling to tell her, but then you also watched the journey of her struggling to understand it, and all very quickly. She's you've lived with this your entire life, and then in fact lived with it the entire time that they were courting. She's I've had one night to kind of digest it. So I think that the beautiful thing that this show has allowed is for everyone to hopefully have a takeaway of how to better communicate with other people, and empathy, and have an understanding that you never know what someone else is going through, and also not to ever take that for granted when somebody's there for you and wants to open up and be vulnerable, and the power of vulnerability.
This is why I don't deal with like you.
Oh, I'm a now. You gonna call me a in my face?
I don't deal with women like you.
You.
People are coming at her from one side, which I completely get on their end, but they're getting a piece of the puzzle. Yeah. So I think for her, it was just about person to person, understanding something that wasn't told to me, and trying to Carlton's point, trying to understand it in a way where cameras or social media aren't involved, and they are. And so I think for them it was humbling. And
I thought what was beautiful about today was them both being willing to acknowledge and recognize that they probably could have handled it a little better, from both sides, and coming to some kind of resolution that was satisfactory to both of them. Because from our perspective, when you're part of these people's day, we were kind of rooting for everybody. You want to see everyone figure this out, and it was it kind of sucked, to be honest, the way that turned out. So it was nice today to see some resolution to a couple of the situations, but especially that one.
Yeah.